You said all injustices will be evened out, if not by ourselves, by some other force. What I mean by that is that it'll either happen through us or in some other way, like someone who puts out some what we might call negative energy. Let's say somebody does you an injustice, that's going to get balanced out. It's going to get corrected. That whoever's sending out that injustice, it's going to come back to them, whether that happens through you or in some other circumstance in their life. So there is no injustice isn't a natural thing. It's not a part of nature. So it's not something, there's no cruelty, there's no inherent callousness or indifference or anything like that. So whatever, it's basically that everything always goes back to balance. Nothing will stay imbalanced. Hey Molly, nice to see you here. Very short notice as usual, my talk, or as most of the time. Yeah, Ted, give me more detail if you want more elaboration. Okay. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Thank you. So do you think the collective ego is at all threatening for the human future, or is it only what it is and only harmful to itself? Well, the collective ego is, you could say, harmful in general, for sure, to itself. Yeah, I mean, who cares about it, really? So I don't know if it is harmful to itself. Yeah, it probably, it's got some auto-destructive thing in it. But yeah, of course, it's threatening to the human future. Yeah, of course. It would be the ultimate, like the ultimate burnout, of yeah, the collective ego is based on the idea of human superiority. So if you take that to the extreme, it means really exploiting everything to our benefit until there's no, I mean, that's kind of the path that we're on, right? Environmental destruction and so on. It's no other species will destroy their own habitat. So of course it's threatening or harmful to the life forms that are humans, but also to other life forms. So, but not necessarily. I mean, it's not necessarily like it's not human extinction isn't inevitable or anything like that. Not at all. Hey, Daryl, but there are examples of bad people who were not punished and good people who were disadvantaged by life. Those are opinions. That's your assessment. You don't know. How do you know? First of all, there are no bad people, but okay, I think I understand what you mean. How do you know if it's not, firstly, it's not about punishment, but also how do you know what happens to them? You don't have your eye on everyone that you might think of in these terms 24/7, right? You don't know what's going on with them. You don't know how the richest people in the world feel. You don't know how deep the despair can go if you completely lose touch with any kind of real aliveness inside. Yeah. And good people who are disadvantaged by life, no one is disadvantaged by life. It's not life that disadvantages us. The circumstances that we call difficult or disadvantaged, they are created by a paradigm of beliefs and thinking that if we follow those and are kind of seduced by them and even sort of make ourselves into a good example of those, or conversely see ourselves as kind of rebels against it, then we create disharmony for ourselves. So the bad people and the good people, that's an assessment that you're making of who is good and who is bad. It's a judgment. And the same way about punishment or disadvantage, they are judgments. This is not how things are. We don't know other people's circumstances. And just because we don't understand something doesn't mean that it's injustice. Yeah, just because we don't know what's going on doesn't mean that there is any kind of indifference by nature. It's this perspective, the locked view, which 99% of the time doesn't get questioned. The view that whatever indifference or unfeelingness or cruelty, that is inherent in nature. Okay, all you need to do is watch a documentary about nature, about animals, and listen to the language, listen to how it goes on about the harsh environment. This animal is surviving against all odds, and you know, in this harsh climate or environment or whatever. So the view that this harshness or difficulty is ingrained and part of nature is exactly it's like locking a door. It's like closing a perspective completely. It's sort of enshrined in our culture as untouchable. That's just how it is. Like the blame is put onto nature so that we deflect the blame from where it actually originates, which is in an abuse of human thinking and the use of language. Who is abusing the mind and language? Human beings. It's the ego. It's the ego that abuses. It's the ability to think, exalting the ability to think. Yeah, setting it up as something special. And I don't know, the furthest. The only thing I could say about it is that the freedom, that thought wouldn't really make sense. The ability to think wouldn't really make sense unless it also includes the ability to think up anything, including things that are unharmonious. Yeah. So the ability is there. The kind of, there is a kind of a freedom to think whatever one likes, really. But we do have, primarily, we are animals. We function on the basis of feeling, of our senses. Yeah. So we do have very much a sense of what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what's harmonious, what's not, what's just, what's unjust. But if we ignore those and follow this exaltation of the mind, then that creates disharmony. We have a will. Yeah, there is the energy of a human being. You could call it the will. So we very much have a will, let's say, to if we have a talent, we perceive a talent that we have, we're very good at drawing or something, or then we have a will to express it, you could say, yeah. Or some children might know very early on what they want to do, or I want to become an actor, and then they just like, or an athlete or whatever, and then they just like one track mind, that's what they want to do, that's the will. So that will can be put, that energy that we have can be put towards a lifetime of trying to achieve, trying to gain recognition, yeah, and gain a high standing of success, of enlightenment, of any kind of goal like that. So who is abusing the mind and language? It's humans, human beings, the ego in humans. It's very simple. If someone, you can either really follow the ego and its kind of enslavement, or not. Yeah. Okay, I think I get your point, but still there are some examples that are so extreme. For example, the small child being harmed physically in a cruel way. Yeah. Again, we don't know why it happens. But to say that, it usually, I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but usually this kind of argument is brought with a reasoning like, therefore, nature is cruel, or God is unjust, yeah, or the whole thing is unfair. So it gets seen. Did the service cut out? It's possible that there was some. I didn't see any freezing or anything. How is it okay now? It seems to be working okay here. There was no freeze. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Molly. I don't know. It's not like the connection here is the greatest, but it seems to be okay from this end. Yeah, I was saying that this kind of argument that, of extreme examples of cruelty, of torture, are usually brought with a kind of, as a reason for like to show that life is unjust, that the cosmos or God or whatever is cruel, unfeeling, that like a counter argument that it's not like everything is just good, that everything is just love, or everything is just freedom. You understand? It's really what it is. It comes from like a perch. It's like sitting back. It's like, okay, what about this though? Like I'm gonna keep my pessimism and my dark view on things until somebody explains me this. That attitude itself is a judgmental attitude. It's judging how things are and justifying the reluctance to look at what's actually saying that, at these ego fueled belief systems, ways of thinking, perspectives, which are dark and pessimistic and negative and so on. It's a laziness. It's the refusal of thinking for oneself in a way. So again, because we don't know the reason for something, doesn't mean that it is the way we have decided or assessed that it is. They're just judgments. The answer would actually be, if you ever heard the answer to this, or the resolution to this puzzle, you would cry, and it would make sense to you. Yeah, why small children are harmed physically in cruel ways in certain instances. What if, I don't know, what if energy decides to come in the form of a, like, whatever there is, whatever we appears, that's how it often gets talked about, so let's go with that. Whatever appears is energy taking that form. So if energy takes the form of a small child, and then certain things happen, which is because the child is born in an environment of claiming, yeah, of disharmony. The human-made systematical world is full of disharmony and cruelty and savagery and violence. Okay, so the small child is born. Let's say it energy takes the form of this small child, is born into a family where it is being abused physically, yeah, or psychologically. How do I know? I can't give you the answer, but how do I know? How do you know that the energy didn't come to actually show something to the abusive parent? Yeah, that's it. Who am I to say I see someone with an extreme disability? Yeah, who am I to say that energy isn't free? If it, who am I to even invade the privacy of that energy who has decided to come in that form? Like, who am I to question it? So even this, like I said before, it's like sitting on a perch. This hankering for answers, this demand for some kind of a, okay, show me, then I'll believe, or then I'll do something about this pursuit of ego, yeah, in myself, for example. It's a judgment. It's an invasion. It's overbearing. Yeah, it's invasive. It's never going to be the case that we have the answer to anything, to everything. Does it mean that I should not react if I see someone hurting another? No, why would it mean that? Not at all. But there's certainly nothing that should ever coerce you or persuade you that you should do something. There's never any obligation that we should do something. Yeah, this collective idea of, oh, we have to protect those who can't protect themselves, we should be there, all this citizenry, we should be good citizens, look out for one another, all that's all human ego based, and it always includes just humans. It's always exclusive in some form or another. If it's just spontaneity. If I see someone hurting someone else, if there's a fight going on in the street, yeah, why would I jump in and get my own face bashed in? But if this situation needs it, I won't even think about it. I'll just be in there. That's it. But if I walk around my life with some image of self-image of like the good person, the peacemaker, yeah, in families you often have someone who's like the peacemaker, or if we walk around with these kind of images, self-images, to make ourselves look better and look good and be accepted in the eyes of others and this, that, then we're just going to create problems for ourselves. Then I am going to go into that situation and get my face bashed in. And then I'll sit there afterwards and have more excuse to fuel my own, like, oh, I was so good and I was so brave and I got in there, and then why am I now why did I get punished? Why did I get hit? Then we just dig the hole more deeper, and then now I'm the victim. Or so with the absence of any self-images, if we're really truly just being ourselves, then these questions just resolve themselves. Like we won't interfere somewhere where it's not necessary or good for us. And where, like, if we react to, there's a child in the street and a car is coming and I'm going to go and grab the child, that just happens. It's just so spontaneous. There can never be a should about it. And even in your question does it mean that I should not react? Who would tell you this should? Yeah. That's really how you could describe the essence of this collective ego, this paradigm that humans have created. That there is, as if there's like a book of reference with, this is what I should, here is the list of what I should do, the list of what I shouldn't do. Yeah, that there's some reference point outside of myself that will tell me what I should or shouldn't do. Having said that, there are countless occasions where it wouldn't be good for me to interfere somewhere, because I would myself be creating a fear, and that's always linked to some kind of self-image. If I think I am good if I do it, if I think I am the good person, if I feel like, oh, but I stand for justice, I care, I'm compassionate, I care about other people's suffering, and so on and so on. That itself is going to create a fate. It brings it back to myself. Yeah. Eventually there's going to be some kind of backlash, because actually what I'm doing is I'm just bigging up myself the whole time. But to interfere in conflict that's going on, very often, not always, but very often, maybe even most of the time, is to come from a place of being the justice maker, the bringer of justice. Yeah. I know what's morally correct. The conflict that's going on that we might see is the consequence of, let's say, two people are fighting and it's quite intense and it's destructive. Then that which is going on is the result of ego, of claiming in both of them. Yeah, there's a clash. The clash is just of claiming. And then for me to go in there and try and resolve that is it's kind of obvious while describing it, right? Yeah. Hi, Raghav. But an image of I may not exist. There is something inside us which separates us. I'm not sure I understand your sentence. An image of I may not exist. Yeah, the images really, they're just images. And there is something inside us which separates us. How do you mean? Can you elaborate a little bit? but inside us is something there. Something is there which keeps on evolving and separating from the world. Okay. Okay. So that I is an image which doesn't exist, but still there seems to be. You're saying that there seems to be something there which keeps on evolving and separating from the world inside. Yeah. No. I mean, it's not. No, it's not separate. It seems to be separate because in physical manifestation, it doesn't make sense. Like, these are glasses, and to be able to say the word glasses and describe what I'm using this for, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, we're putting words to it, descriptive words, that these are glasses, but it doesn't mean that in essence there is any separation between a body and glasses and the books and the computer screen. Yeah, it's all made of the same stuff. Okay, at the root. So that's the non-separation part. But otherwise, yeah, of course. Like, if I'm each life form, everything is an individual expression. Yeah, a singular, unique expression of this whole energy. Of course, it goes its own way. Like, every human has their own lifespan, the things they like to do, what they want to express, their characteristics, their personality, their sense of humor, whatever. So, I mean, I live a completely separate life to you, you could say, yeah? But, yeah. But this I... Okay, so when we say this I doesn't exist, that I is an image, what is meant is that ultimately this individuality or uniqueness is not a completely isolated, independently existing. Yeah, it's not like there's the cosmos or the universe, yeah, and then there's me separate. That's all. Okay, and Raghav, also what I will say is that there is a lot of nonsense that gets talked about in non-duality, okay, especially around this topic of I. There's a lot of nonsense, okay? There's a lot of misinterpretation of it. So where the sense of I is exaggerated, the pointing to the fact that the I doesn't actually ultimately exist as an independent entity, is a way of pointing to this exaggerated self-importance. Yeah. At the end of the day, I was saying to you earlier, there are the glasses, there's a phone, there's a screen, there's a body, there's a jacket, there are books, there's a bookshelf. Ultimately, this is diversity. Yeah, this is the beauty of physical expression. It wouldn't make sense to. It's not like some cosmic soup and everything is connected and there are no boundaries and all this. That's nonsense. Physical manifestation wouldn't make sense without boundaries. Like, there's a boundary. There's like a somewhere where these glasses end. Yeah. There's somewhere where this phone has a frame, right? It has limits. So you can't say ultimately that these limits are absolute, so that each individual thing is independent, like exists independently from everything else in an absolute sense. Why? Because the essence that makes everything is energy, and there are no limits in energy. The energy is energy. You can't say there is an energy that is France and an energy that is South Africa. Yeah. It's energy. Those are man-made boundaries. But physical manifestation, that's not like a tree and a flower and a human being and a fox. That's not human-made boundaries. So we have to be like, really have to differentiate this business of what exists, what doesn't exist. And that's why I say there is a lot of nonsense that is said, and a lot of things get put into one pot, and there's a hell of a lot of misinterpretation. But at the root, everything is made of energy. Even if you ask quantum physicists, what will they say? They will lead you ultimately to the unknown, which is, what is matter really? What is emptiness really? So the bottom line is that everything is made of the same stuff, if you want to call it stuff, if you want to call energy stuff. Yeah, that energy ultimately is a mystery, but it's what everything is made of. It's that energy taking the form of the glasses, of the phone, of the jumper. Yeah. So, but it is still energy. So that's the non-separation. It's all made of the same thing. Like, I and you are different, indeed unique, but again, I've heard people saying we are all the same. This sense of self is same in everyone. Yeah, here's the big misinterpretation. Again, okay. So the sense of self that we mostly walk around with is actually ego. Yeah, the collection of self images that we've made up about ourselves is ego. Yeah, we describe ourselves in certain ways. We claim the abilities and the talents and the gifts that we have. Like, I am so good at whatever I might have a talent for. I am a good writer. I'm a good athlete. I'm a good whatever it is. Yeah, I'm a good father. I'm a good mother. I'm whatever. Or I'm very bad, negative self-images as well. Yeah. So the sense of self, the feeling of who I am, is very often the ego. Mostly it's the ego. So it's a false sense of self. It's a sense of a false self. But if we sit here and really, like, if I stay quiet for a second and there's just a sense of being, a sense of energy, a sense of self, I could call it, yeah? To try and get rid of that, because some non-duality speaker has said that there has thrown out the baby with the bathwater. I don't know if you're familiar with the expression, but it's kind of tragic, because it's totally misguided. It's complete rubbish. That sense that we have about ourselves, the real who we really are, if you strip away all the falseness, who we really are, how we really sense ourselves, that never goes away. What that is our uniqueness. Okay, really, in its essence, that never goes away. It was never not there. That's maybe the singular most difficult thing to express, I find, is this, how ordinary it is that you sitting there typing and looking at the computer screen, me sitting here typing at this computer screen. I'm experiencing my uniqueness, you're experiencing your uniqueness, just as a way of saying it. Yeah, but the ordinariness of it, that's the freedom. The real simple, can't really put words to it, can't describe it. That's the simplicity, that's the uniqueness, that is the freedom. That's what never dies. Look at these glasses, yeah? So we're in agreement that they are glasses, yeah? we can talk about the color. We can say, yeah, there are two lenses in it. I can bend these. But really, if you really look at them and take away the words for a minute and the use that we kind of can be in agreement that we make of this, just in itself, we can't describe it. Take an object in front of you, or whatever you have, or see the glasses. What, like, without words, what's your sense of this? It's pure freedom. Was never any should, that energy should take this form. Yeah, it's indescribable. It's a mystery. It's a complete miracle. When you talk, I don't know, I'm sure kids often do it, or it happens throughout life. Maybe this will resonate with you. Like, there are moments where we notice like how strange language actually sounds. We look at certain words and like, wow, that's just a sound. Yeah. And there you see the distance that is there. Like, we're using sounds to describe something, to give meaning to something, but actually they're just sounds. And that which we're describing is already there. It already is. Okay? So this certainty, this assumption of knowledge, and that these are only glasses, so they are only that which has a use for me to facilitate this or that. That one-sidedness, that's the illusion. That's kind of the bondage, you could say. That's the unfreedom. Hey, Molly. In general, for you, is literature and philosophy, etc., an expression or attempts at limits ego? No. No. Not at all. It depends. Like a book can be written from a sense of truth, or a sense of love, a sense of inspiration. The beauty of literature, if you perceive something as beautiful, you can be pretty sure that it comes from the heart. And that's just an expression. It's creativity. It's pure creativity. Same with philosophy. But it can also come from claiming. It can come just from some ego drive, yeah? But hang on, limits are not ego. Like I was just saying, limits are necessary for anything in physical manifestation to make any sense. There is a limit between me and these glasses. Otherwise, the concept, it wouldn't even make sense. Yeah, in interpersonal relationships, limits are crucial to make any relationship flourish. There has to be limits. Privacy is a limit. Ego is a different thing. I'm not sure I follow. It was there when we were 1 or 2 years old. I can't see the word after or, but I'm assuming you're saying 1 or 2. There's something in the way there on the. Now I see it. It was there when we were 1 or 2 years old. I'm not sure what that means. It would be the energy, yeah, that which is absolute. Let's say, maybe you were typing this while I was saying something and you meant something else, something more specific. Yeah, it being there all the time. Yeah, well, then why would it not be there if we're 1 or 2 years old? Energy Yeah, we even know nowadays through physics that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So it's always there, of course. It meaning sense of self. Yeah, the true sense of self, like the true self, what I would refer to as the true self, which is just this immediacy, this uniqueness, this unique expression of life. You don't remember it when you were 1 year old, but because that's a memory. Now you're looking for a memory. It's a sense of being. Call it a sense of being. There, of course, a baby also has a sense. Baby is not like senseless. It's not like we adults teach babies senses. They are sensory beings. They're like everything else. Raghav, don't you think this point of knowledge, like knowing this thing is glass, originates from the desire with us? Do you mean the desire inside us? No, it's just a no. That's like if that's what you mean, that's a religious. It's that would be the consequence of saying that everything which is physical, sensory, natural is somehow lower. Yeah, what we said at the very beginning: lower, cruel, evil. Everything used to elevate humans. Yeah, so now that which is natural, including our own animal nature, our nature, is something that we should suppress. Yeah, or sublimate, or make more sophisticated, or somehow transmute into something higher. Yeah, that's the basis for all spiritual pursuit. So then we say, like Buddhism will say, that desire is the problem. Yeah, but really our true desire, which for example is to live free of ego, or our true desire is to express our creative abilities, or our true desire is to live in harmony, to live joyfully. Yeah, our real heartfelt desires are natural, completely natural. The kind of claiming, what's it called, avarice, or like greediness, that you could say those are desires which aren't natural. But in something as neutral as this example, no, of course it's not something to do with our desire. The knowledge, so I know, but I know in a very relative sense. I know that these are glasses. Like you tell a kid who's like already, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old, you tell me, oh, these are glasses. They'll go, I know. Why are you telling me this? But it doesn't go any further than that. It's just it's a relative form of knowing. There's a consensus that these are glasses. What are they used for? They're used to make you see better. Yeah. These aren't actually graded. They're just for the glare from the screen because I use the computer a lot. So anyway, these are glasses. We know that these are glasses. You know it, I know it. But that knowing doesn't go very deep. It's attaching too much importance to this knowing until it becomes everything. Now the sense of wonder, which is so natural, is completely lost. Why? Because we've elevated thinking. We've completely not only disregarded our feelings, but actively suppressed them because they are part of this of our lower aspects. Yeah, that which is nature, that which is earthly and not good and dirty and sexual and all that. Yeah, that which all religion tries to suppress and sublimate. and somehow control, because somehow it's evil. And if you don't repress it or control it, it might come out in some evil ways. Yeah. So that suppressing what is natural like that is necessary if you're going to say that humans are the gods, or are the kings, or are the pinnacle of creation. Yeah. This knowledge thing of like that these are glasses is a very relative thing. Yeah. Then you could say it also is a mystery. If you look at it without any words, if you take away the word glasses for this, you look at it just for a couple of seconds, you see that you can't describe it. Yeah. So there's the part of not knowing. I don't know. It's a mystery. I don't know. On the other hand, like also at the same time, I know that they're glasses, but this I know is pretty relative. It's just, okay, I know that these are glasses. Wow, okay, big deal. So this means that this sense of self is also natural. Yes, 100%. It's the immediacy of it. Look at a child playing. Do you really think that the child playing, like a child is playing, a child is free. Children are free. Okay. It's no two ways about that. A child playing, the immediacy of it, how it's playing, it doesn't stop to think about, but you're really going to say there's no sense there at all? Of course, the child's having fun. The part of the joy of that fun that the child is having is like, wow, this is so much fun, right? And in that context, and in this immediacy and this aliveness of it, to start going on about, oh, the sense of self is wrong, and it's the source of troubles, and it's that which is keeping us from being truly free and all that, it doesn't make any sense. You have to really differentiate, like, what is, like, you have to then really define what you mean by self. Yeah, and have to make it very, very clear, because there is a lot of misunderstanding, and it's an angle that you come at this topic from, which is very, very blurry, because there is so much misunderstanding there, because there is so much ego and so much claiming a natural sense of self, yeah, which is the same as a sense of being. But because we are living in a body, because there is a physical realm, let's say, yeah, this taking on a form of the formless, in that context, it doesn't make sense to, like, I have a sense of being, and then there's someone sitting next to me and they have a sense of being, and that's identical. Yeah. Then it's like, oh, now I can see that I am the planets and the sun and the empty space and the park bench and the window and everything. Yeah. What? Like, I'm not going to spend my days like that, right? If I'm here to enjoy my life in a physical body, that's not the point of it, or the scope of it isn't to achieve this, some view that I am everything. Like, what is that? Okay, there can be glimpses. If someone sees that, like this, it has a purpose, then it shows them, like, oh, look, everything is connected. Everything is made of the same stuff. There are no boundaries. Actually, in the non-form, there is no boundary. But logic can tell you that too. Like, yeah, there is no the individuality, the uniqueness of each life form is the beauty of it. It's the whole point. It's the whole point of non-form taking on form to give expression. Yeah, it's like if you someone draws, like, go and see, I don't know, the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, or go and see some beautiful painting or some, Yeah, someone's drawing, and you go and look, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. Maybe someone just drew with pencil. So then the equivalent would be saying, no, that's not real. It's an illusion. So just like there's only gray, so you fill the whole blank page out with gray from a pencil. Now we've got the truth. It's rubbish. It's nonsense. The whole point is the expression, the uniqueness, the individual expression. To live a fulfilled life is to fulfill one's uniqueness, and that, I would call that the sense of self, the true self. I don't see any problem with calling that a self. It's miraculous that there are so many gazillions of unique expressions of the same stuff. And that for me, the discussion ends there. Then to dissect the, the I and the not I, and the I isn't real, and me is the source. What's wrong with me? Me is the source of all suffering. What a load of nonsense. Those are misinterpretations. Really, they are misinterpretations of, it's like a mixture of some glimpses, like half truths, some scriptures, some spiritual stuff. It's very dicey, I think. That's not to say that some people who talk in that way aren't speaking absolutely genuinely. Yeah. It's a deep end. It's the deep end, you could say. But it's the issue isn't really with, okay, make no mistake, there are a lot of people who speak, and who speak from a wrong place, most even. But those who speak from a genuine place, the problem isn't what they're saying, it's how people are interpreting what they're hearing. There can never be, these things are always, by the way, always only handholds. Yeah, there's no absolute. Someone might say one thing one day and exactly the opposite the next day. Because there is no outside, there is nothing you could write down and it will be absolutely true for all time. The only absoluteness is love. But love has no rules, it has no scripture, it has no prescriptions. Yeah, it has no questions. Love is not a question. It doesn't keep an eye either. I have read some Hindu philosophy. The idea of Atma goes close to that. Yeah, there's a lot in Hindu philosophy that goes close to it. I mean, yeah, there are in all philosophies, in all scriptures, there are some seeds of it's very simple, actually. It's just love. Yeah, look at Christianity as well. Jesus, what does Jesus talk about? Love. But you also see how much misinterpretation there is about it. Yeah. Raghav, where are you? You're from India, yeah. I kind of guessed that. Whereabouts? Where are you in India? Oh, Delhi. I lived in Delhi for a few years when I was a kid. I love Delhi. That's why I was asking. I was curious. You know, honestly, there is a lot, like, wow, yeah, good place. Things have changed, though. Can't see people in winter. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I've been there a few times over the years, and it's crazy how it's changed. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I was saying the courage. So a lot gets said about this subject. Yeah. People will talk or ask about, like, uh, what does it mean to really live fully or freely, like, in terms of contact with others, um, or, even mentally, like, psychologically, people get scared, um, because there are so many misrepresentations. Like, someone might have the bottom might drop out. If there was so much claiming, if there was so much ego, then obviously the contrast is going to be pretty big when that all ends. Yeah. And it I guess it can happen. Usually doesn't, but it can happen that it happens just like that. But overall, the courage to live freely, the courage to live free from ego, which is a natural desire that we all have anyway, is no more than having the courage to, like, if anyone's ever been told by parents or some other adults, or peers or anyone, that, oh, feelings are weak, yeah, or, yeah, you can't feed the world on love or whatever, yeah, it's only that courage. It's only the courage to uh, risk misunderstanding, and to something as delicate and as gentle as feelings or love. Yeah, just the words, the way they are seen, the way they are seen as weak. Um, whereas there couldn't be anything further from the truth. It couldn't be any more the other way. It's the only real strength lies in them. So the courage that's required to be free is the same courage that you could say, uh, to take, I don't know, to take something like feelings or love seriously. Yeah. It's not a lot of courage really that's required. A little bit, yes. As a culture, though, it's also obvious how disregarded these things are, and how unimportant it is, seen, even to live a life fully. Yeah, how the norm is to get to the end of life and have regrets. Yeah, to kind of look back and suddenly see, oh my God, I've just been living some kind of an illusion. I've basically wasted my time, on things that are empty. that bring only like that lack dignity, you could say, lack integrity, vapid things, vain things, so they aren't valued at all. And the it's ironic how that which actually nourishes us and which we are made of, we look at with disdain. And it's like the least important thing in our culture. And the most important thing is money. But actually, it's the other way around. Money is the last thing. And I'm sure hundreds of thousands of arguments can be brought about, like, yeah, but someone who has no money and is on the street and blah, blah. Money is the last thing. I have felt sometimes there is no end to all this drama whenever I think about what's going on. What do you mean at what's going on? I don't know what a nothing state would be. Nothing state means where there are no thoughts, it's silence, and indeed in our culture these things aren't taught. First thing after born is to earn money. Yeah. Yeah, there can be moments where there are no thoughts, and but it's not like this. It's not like that's also a misinterpretation. Like freedom is not a thoughtless state. Thoughts are completely natural. We have a mind. We have like, okay, mind is the ability to think, the ability to use language. We have those abilities. Like if I have a talent for painting or I have a talent for writing or anything, those are also abilities. Yeah, none is better than another, but they are gifts. They are literally gifts. We even talk about it. Yeah, someone is so gifted. We say someone is so gifted, but there are no ungifted people. It's just someone who's giving expression to that gift. And people might say all day about themselves, I have no talents, I wish I had a talent. But it's not true. Everybody has unique abilities. That's why we're here. And to bring those to expression is the point of life, in this form. So thoughts are also a gift. The ability to think, the ability to use language is a gift. It's like saying, it's as if we want to say, oh, I wish I had a life without the ability to draw. It's not like that. It's not, there is no, there is no permanent thoughtless state. That's a misinterpretation as well. But yes, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Raghav, but that you sometimes feel there's no end to all this drama. Definitely, this ego, collective ego realm, it just chases its own tail and it wants to create drama all the time. And now you're talking about first thing after being born is to earn money. That's what we're taught. We don't need to be taught about freedom or silence or any of these things. That's not something that is any adult's responsibility to teach. But yeah, this pressure to whatever it is to earn money or whatever, this acculturation, this conditioning, it's drama. It's endless drama, for sure. All right, that's it for me. Take care, everyone. And yeah, Merry Christmas. Incidentally, what's really true about the feeling of that we have when we have something like Christmas or some kind of occasion like that is that every day is like that. Yeah, because what comes to the fore in on a time like that is the world of feelings, is the world of affection, for example. Yeah, is celebration, and that is what life is. So literally every day is Christmas. Yeah, the feeling that we associate with it. It's just that we have these moments where we breathe, and then it's like drama, 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 hustle, 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 hustle all the time. Yeah, but the truth of it is that it's like that every day. Yeah, when you if you get some step back from the conditioning, then you see that everything that's going on around is drama. Yeah, that's how it is. It only takes a little bit of an inquisitive tendency or desire to really sort of, this is all very, it's all a little bit superficial and unsatisfying. So you go deeper. Yeah. And it doesn't take that much courage. All right. Take a break, yo. Have a good one. Take care.